get healthy, please. Because I do know this. The Chicago Bulls with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan would look a hell of a lot better with you on the basketball court as their point guard than they've looked without you. I know you can play, bro. I just know you can't because you're not healthy.
We've just received some really good news about Lonzo Ball. There have been reports that Lonzo Ball could be returning for the 2024-25 NBA season. The last time he played in an NBA game was on January 14th, 2022, and has had a total of 3 operations on his left knee. His career has been plagued by injuries, and he's looking to make a return after a pretty serious cartilage transplant. This is the story of Lonzo Ball in the NBA. I remember back in the day when Ball's Life would drop a new video of Lonzo Ball and his brothers at Chino Hills. During his senior season, Chino Hills was unstoppable, and he was setting records, and the team went undefeated, going 35-0. And by this point, he had already committed to UCLA, and the hype was building around Lonzo Ball. And he would live up to the hype as a freshman at UCLA, leading the nation in assists and breaking UCLA's record for most assists in a season. But a lot of the hype would come from Lonzo Ball's dad, LeVar, who had some pretty interesting takes on Lonzo.
You were on record talking about put your son on the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
And put Steph Curry on UCLA.
Yes.
And your son would explain how
Right
your son
now.
would be better.
You're saying that right now.
Right now.
Now.
That
UCLA wouldn't be where they at. Steph Curry gonna shoot him out the game. He ain't rebounding and passing that ball.
Shoot him out the game?
Shoot him out the game.
Out the game.
Out
Not
the game.
in the
But a lot of the hype that his dad caused made a lot of people doubt Lonzo and even hate on his abilities, saying he wouldn't be effective in the NBA. But despite all the doubts, Lonzo Ball was drafted by the Lakers, 2nd overall in 2017. But since he's gotten the NBA, his career has been plagued by injuries. In his rookie season, he missed 30 games due to shoulder and knee injuries, and even missed the Rising Stars game because of a knee injury. But one thing is clear about Lonzo Ball: he has significant playmaking abilities, and he really does make his teammates better when he is on the floor. The thing that stuck out the most whenever he was coming up was his shot. He had a really unusual shot form that would be fixed later when he got to the Pelicans. But in the offseason going into his sophomore season, Ball underwent an operation on his left knee to repair a torn meniscus. And it was during that offseason that the Lakers signed LeBron James. We all looked up to LeBron, so I'm sure he was pretty hyped to be teaming with him. And in his second season, he would only play 47 games, but was stopped once again after suffering a grade 3 left ankle sprain, and then he missed the Rising Stars game once again. And it was after this season that Lonzo Ball was shipped to the Pelicans for Anthony Davis, and his stint with the Pelicans was the healthiest he had been throughout his NBA career. In the 2019-2020 season, he played 63 games, and he would even make more leaps in his 3-point percentage and scoring totals in the 2020-2021 season, developing as a point guard, and his future was looking brighter than ever as long as he stayed healthy. But unfortunately, this was not the case. Pelicans were not in Lonzo's future, and that became clear when he was traded to the Chicago Bulls to become a cornerstone piece alongside Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. He was making significant improvements to his shooting percentage with his refined jump shot, and Lonzo is one of my favorite players to watch, and he moves at his own pace. But unfortunately, only 35 games into the season, his left knee started acting up again, and he suffered a meniscus tear against the Golden State Warriors, announcing that he would undergo a surgery. And initially they said he would only be out for 6 to 8 weeks, but then in April the Bulls announced that he would be shut down for the rest of the season. And then going into his 6th season in the NBA in 2022, Zoe underwent another operation on his knee, forcing him to miss training camp, then being shut down for the season, having the cartilage transplant on his knee in March of 2023, and he would be shut down for the rest of the season once again. And like I said before, the last time he played a game was on January 14th, 2022, but he has remained positive despite all the setbacks and injuries in his career, and even spoke about it with Trae Young on his podcast.
I think y'all's season would have been like had you not been hurt. How you feel about the team? Y'all have a squad. Like, how'd you feel about it?
It's going to be a big what if. I mean, for me, I feel bad just for the GMs just because I feel like they made the perfect team around me. And I felt like I was involved in, that was the most I've ever been involved in an organization. And I finally got the perfect team, you know, that I felt like to fit my game. That injury, you know, that I'm still going through it right now. But that one messed me up early just because I feel like we really had a chance and never got to see what it was. Nah, I think I played hoop the same way my whole life, bro. Like, I always just loved playing basketball. So it's just basically something that got taken away from me that's it's gonna be a whole new joy again. Like, I'm gonna be hella happy to be back out there, but
The latest updates on Lonzo Ball came from his coach Billy Donovan when he said that Lonzo is running, cutting, and jumping once again in his current recovery workouts, and footage released of Lonzo working out in March of this year, and he seems to be making pretty solid progress. So I think that the goal is for him to return in the 2024-25 season if all things go as planned, and he's set to begin contact training including 5v5 scrimmages this summer, but he will make significant improvements to the Chicago Bulls. They haven't had a terrible season. They're going to make the play-in tournament, but they would be much better if Lonzo was on the floor. DeMar DeRozan and Andre Drummond will become unrestricted free agents this season, meaning that the Chicago Bulls could lose them both, but the future for the Chicago Bulls and Lonzo Ball is currently unclear, but this is some positive news coming from his coach and from the Bulls organization, and I hope that Lonzo Ball can make his long-awaited return to the NBA. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about what's going on in the NBA, check out my first video that I just posted.